Hello and welcome to another episode of the Oner podcast, the podcast where we break down and review films all in one big, long, unbroken take. I am Cramer England, and unfortunately, I am the only one here. Austin is not feeling well. I hope he starts feeling better soon. And unfortunately, we were planning on doing the long walk together. But what we're going to do today, just to kind of keep something out there, at least we can get something posted, I am going to do a spoiler free review of The Long Walk. I'm going to let you guys know my thoughts and my feelings on the movie. And then me and Austin will do a spoiler filled version somewhere down the line, maybe in a week or two. And we'll be able to give you the full episode in a couple weeks. Sorry for the delay. Sorry that this is happening, but sometimes things come up. So hopefully this will at least give you some insight on the movie, because this movie is a very good movie. The Long Walk, just up front, I will let you know I very much enjoyed this film. So The Long Walk was written by Stephen King. It was actually his first novel that he ever wrote, but it was not the first one that he published, not the first novel that was published of his. It was written, I believe, in 1966. And so it was his first novel, and when it was published, I think in the late 70s, it was published under the name Richard Bachman. And Stephen King did this, I guess, to see if he could still be successful even without using his name, which is very interesting. But he published it under that novel, and it's been around since the 70s, and now we're just finally getting a new movie, which is funny because the subject matter of this film is actually very similar to others that have come out before it, namely the Hunger Games, Battle Royale, any of those movies that kind of where one person needs to be left standing. But this seems to be about that first premise that kind of showed up. Let me know if I'm wrong in that. Let me know in the comments if there's another novel or movie that came out before this that was kind of that premise. But this kind of set that precedent, and many other shows have kind of adapted that to fit their own needs. And this one is a really, really good one. As far as this movie, the other connection to the Hunger Games is that this movie was directed by Francis Lawrence. Francis Lawrence is actually a really great director. He started out, I think, in music videos, and now he's done several movies. He has done all of the Hunger Games movies except for the first one. The first one was directed by someone else. He has done all of them since then, and I think he's done a wonderful job. And with this movie, he did a really, really great job. It is kind of treading on familiar ground, but it is very much different than those other films as well, because people are not pitted against each other per se. They're not trying to kill each other, but they are going against each other. So, The Long Walk, what's it about? So it's set in some sort of dystopian future where America is ruled under some totalitarian regime. I'm not sure if Mark Hamill's the Major, that's his character in this film. I'm not sure if he is the leader of this or if he's just kind of the military figurehead. Whatever it is, he's very involved, and he's kind of the one who runs it, and he is like a huge celebrity in all of these people's eyes. But what they do is they get 50 men to compete against each other in the long walk. It's all a lottery system. You get chosen, you submit to it, and then you can get chosen, and they take one from each state. And we follow mainly one person. The main person that we follow, his name is Ray, and he is played by Cooper Hoffman, the son of the late great Philip Seymour Hoffman. Amazing actor, Philip Seymour Hoffman. And Cooper Hoffman does a really, really great job in this. And I will back to him in just a moment. But the premise again, 50 of these men, they walk. They have to stay above 3 miles an hour. And if they don't, they'll get a warning, and then they'll have 10 seconds to get back up, or they'll get a second warning, another 10 seconds, and they'll get a third warning, then another 10 seconds, and then you get your ticket, which means you get killed. So they have to walk continually on this one road all together, have to stay above 3 miles an hour. And if they go off the path, they'll be shot. They'll get their ticket. If they try to do something that they're not supposed to, they'll get their ticket. And there is no finish line. So it's a very simple premise, but very, very effective. And this film is extremely simple in the best way. It's I get the premise immediately, just from the trailers. I got it. Um, but this movie is a great, it's the premise really draws you in because it's it's very intense, it's very exciting, and it's but the entire movie is just them walking. They're walking on this road to try and win a very large sum of money. And I actually am very excited to get into this with Austin because I have some interesting theories about this that we will get into later. But yeah, they get to win. They win a large sum of money again, kind of like the Hunger Games. They everybody is kind of impoverished, so they are all competing against this. Now, the thing that I really liked about this movie is that so Cooper Hoffman, he's who plays Ray, he's really kind of an idealist, and he does a great job of making the character very relatable and very endearing. I really was rooting for him, and I thought he did a really, really great job in keeping me interested in this character and drawing me in and making me empathize with this character. I think he did a really, really good job. I think the other thing that I really loved about this premise is that a lot of this is kind of symbolic of war, right? This was kind of written during the Vietnam War. Um, and you can kind of see many, many similarities between this and, kind of the war is hell type uh, storyline. This is obviously not during a war, but you can see many, many similarities. So it was really, really good in that way. But sorry, again, the thing that I love about this that I haven't even got to yet is that all of these guys start and they all kind of build a relationship immediately. So the movie itself has this great premise, but it's really about the relationship of these boys. They're all very young men. They're not old. None of them is probably over 20, 25 years old. And or they're all about between 20 and 25 years old. And it's about kind of their relationship, and it takes place over a few days, and they really bond, which I really, really liked, because then it is this huge juxtaposition of when people do get gunned down. I mean, in war, you make friends, right? You make friends with these men that you go to battle with, and some of them don't make it home. And they use that scenario very effectively in this movie, and it's done very, very well. It's also a very violent movie. It's pretty shocking. Some of the scenes that they have, it really is hard to watch sometimes. So if you don't like that, um, you might want to avoid this movie. But I actually thought it was done pretty well for the most part. Some of it I thought, I don't know if you needed to show that, but I understand why they did. It was very, very effective, and they don't try to glorify anything. It's actually just makes it far more impactful when you see some of the things that happen. Um, so I don't think they're exploiting it in any way. It's never shown as anything exciting or fun. It's always shown as dramatic. It's always shown as a horrible thing, and you see the effect that it has on on all these characters when somebody does get their ticket. It's very, very effective. So they used the violence maybe a little too extreme, but I appreciated it and I understand where they were coming from with it. So just be aware of that when you're going into this movie. So the other person that I really thought did the best job is David Johnson. He plays the character Peter. David Johnson was in Alien Romulus, and me and Austin just talked about how great he was in that movie. Huge standout in that movie, and an even bigger standout, in my opinion, in this movie. His character is immediately likable, and immediately it was so interesting because at first I was trying to get a gauge for who he was and who he was as a character, and I thought, oh, maybe he's just putting on a show. And I won't spoil kind of what happens in the end, but he does an amazing job. I just immediately loved this character, and I thought it was an amazing performance by him. A few other characters that they have in this movie, some are the bad guys, some are good, did a really, really good job. Mark Hamill did a great job. He was very imposing. He's very scary, and he's kind of on the border of ridiculous. But he never crosses that border. And I actually thought it was very effective. I thought he did a really good job. I do wonder if someone could have played this character differently, and I wonder if it would have been better, or I mean, it could have been very different, right? You could have someone who's a little bit more military. The thing about Mark Hamill, he's an amazing actor, an amazing voice actor, so probably one of the best voice actors around. But that was kind of my problem, is I felt like he was doing a voice, and it felt a little too different than him as a person. Now, that was my own personal preference. Again, he did an amazing job. He's a great actor in this movie. It's probably one of his best roles. So I could be completely wrong. Love to know what anybody thinks about him, though. If you loved him and you wish nobody else would do it, that's great. Let me know what you think about Mark Hamill. The other very standout person in this movie is Judy Greer. She is only in the movie for like 3 or 4 scenes, and she completely stole the show every time she was in the movie. Just gives an amazingly effective performance as Cooper Hoffman's mom in the film, Ray's mom in the film. She really makes you feel like a parent would in this situation. And it is extremely heartbreaking what she has to go through. So just an amazing performance there. So anyway, some really great performances, really great direction. Cinematography is really good. Everything is done extremely well. The ending of this movie, I'm very excited to talk to Austin about. I'm very excited to hear what anybody else thinks. Let me know what you think of this ending, because I do like it. I've been trying to think of possible other endings, and I don't know if I think one would be better or not. And I've watched some different videos on them, and there's some very interesting analysis into that ending. And I think they did a good job. But I would love to know if anyone has an alternate ending that they thought maybe would be better. I have some ideas, but me and Austin will go over that when we go over the film again. Now, again, this movie, really, really good movie. I think you could definitely see it in the theater, and it would be a great experience. It really helps you to be immersed and connect with these characters. Now, when it does come out on streaming, you should very much watch this film. Really great movie. I would highly recommend this. I will give my scores when I go with Austin. I'd love to know what he thinks as well. But overall, a couple nitpick things that I have about the film, but overall, it's really, really well made. It's a smaller movie in comparison to many of the movies that we have now, but it's really, really great. This is really good cinema. It's really good filmmaking here. So definitely go out and try to see this movie if you can in the theaters. So that's kind of my overall spoiler-free review of the film. I hope this was helpful to you. Again, me and Austin will do a spoiler-filled review of this film in the coming weeks. Sometimes just life gets in the way, but we'll get into that, and we'll post that as soon as we can. Now, next week, we are going to review One Battle After Another. This is the new Paul Thomas Anderson film with Leonardo DiCaprio. It's getting some very, very positive reviews, and I am trying to temper my expectations, because if I go into a movie with very high expectations, sometimes it doesn't get met. So I always try to go into movies with low expectations. I find that I like more movies that way. So, and I like to like movies. I want to like movies. So, very excited to see this movie. I hope it does live up to the hype. But again, I'm going to have those low expectations, and I'm going to be excited to review that. So, watch along with us. Remember to like, comment, share, subscribe. Definitely comment. I am always on the comments. I'd love to start any sort of conversation with anybody who wants to talk about the movies that we're talking about or other movies. Just love to talk about movies with anybody. So again, next week, One Battle After Another.